Welcome to the Christmas edition of the Rock and Road podcast. This is Leona Graham here for the final podcast of 2020, and thank you for listening to them so far, if indeed you have. Now, on the podcast today, there's going to be a review of the e-golf, a Christmas quiz and some Christmas jokes. We'll hear from Father Christmas himself. Yes, Santa Claus is my special guest. I've got 5 quiz questions for you, 20 points for each correct answer. And question number 1 right now, in fact. Which Christmas carol was the first song to be broadcast from space in 1965? That's which Christmas carol was the first song to be broadcast from space in 1965? I'll have the answers to all of the questions for you at the end of the podcast. But that was question number 1. Now, last week I was telling you about the BMW 320 convertible, which I loved, but then I discovered something even better. The world of the 4x4. This was a completely new concept to me. My first experience driving in a higher up position, having something really chunky and rugged. I tried out a Jeep Cherokee with big fat chunky tyres. The driving area was like a cockpit, surrounded by controls, even on the ceiling, and I thought, I've got to get one of these. Now, what I wanted was one with black exterior, black interior, and blacked out windows. I found one all the way up in Bolton, about a 4-hour drive from me. And this one was a 4-litre engine, absolutely massive, but with an LPG gas conversion tank already on it. And it meant that I could drive around on 39p a litre, which is what the gas cost at that time. So I phoned up the dealership, told them about the BMW, we worked out a deal where I trade it in, drove all the way up there, and it was almost like the BMW knew it was being traded in and started to fall apart on the journey. First of all, a massive puddle kept forming behind the passenger seat in the footwell. Pulled over a few times, had to keep hoovering it up. Then I put the roof down and back up, but on the way back up, it got stuck. So I had to force it back into position, just hope the guy didn't notice it. Got there, he had a look around the BMW and he didn't test the roof, he didn't notice the wet patch. I looked around the Jeep, loved it, drove it back to London. When I got back to London though, I noticed the air conditioning wasn't working. Took it into my car mechanic who said this air conditioning needs replacing, it's going to be really expensive. And there's no brake pads either, it's worn right back to the discs. So I phoned up the dealer in Bolton and said, look, there's no aircon, there's no brake pads. And he said to me, Leona, your car's got a leak behind the passenger seat and the roof doesn't work. I said, okay. So we left it at that. I did love that Jeep though. Has anybody else got a story about trading in a car? Let me know at Rock and Road Pod on the socials. Just before the car review today, I've got another question on the festive quiz. This is question number 2. Which Christmas song was initially banned by the Catholic Church in Boston when it was first released in the 1950s? Okay. Which Christmas song was initially banned by the Catholic Church in Boston when it was first released in the 1950s? The answers to the festive quiz coming up at the end of the podcast. Now then, on this week's episode, I'm testing the VW e-Golf, which is the electric version of the Mark 7 Golf. Now, for an electric car, it's quite subtle, as it looks pretty much like a normal Golf, unlike so many other electric cars that really stand out. Prices start at £28,000, and this car has a range of around 115 miles, meaning it's probably best suited to more urban and short-distance driving. But how is it to drive? Well, first of all, let's work out how to start it. How do you start it? Does it need to be in... It's in park. So I've turned the key. Or is it started because it's silent? Is it actually...
Oh, yeah.
If I... Yeah, it's on. There is no engine start. So we have already started the car and it's completely silent. So we're going to try now pull out of the space.
Really? You're going to take the car?
Well, we're driving along and I can't hear anything, can you? It's like riding a bicycle, there's no sound. Let's just check a few things. The internal lights are fantastic. Lovely bright LEDs. And then the vanity mirror, it has an LED light above it. Perfect. So the dashboard has got a speedometer as normal. It's, the typical Golf inside. So it doesn't feel any different in that respect. But the left-hand dial is all about the electrics. So as I'm accelerating, The lever goes to the right to tell me you're using quite a lot of charge. But it says I've got 59 miles left until it needs another charging point. 59 miles. We're only going to be doing about 10. We're going to drive into central London, look at the lights. We're going to go up the A3 as well to test a bit more speed. So looking at the heating, we have a control on the left and the right, the same as that high-end Jaguar we had last time. So that's good. No heated seats, sadly, but different temperatures for each side of the car.
So should we try and work out the radio?
Yeah.
Where's the volume button?
Where was it? We're heading out to the A3 and we're going to test the power. I'm accelerating hard and it really reacts. You don't feel like it's going to when there's no engine noise, do you?
No.
It's just electricity.
I know. Electricity is so fast.
There doesn't feel any compromise with not having a normal petrol engine so far. What does it feel like as a passenger? The same?
I mean, you don't get the same thrill as you would in the Jag, because it just glides. Like, it doesn't really drive.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of describing it. We're just sort of gliding along. There's no revving. But if they said, right, petrol's banned tomorrow, I wouldn't have trouble. I wouldn't mind driving this.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think because it's the same as a standard Golf, so it's the same as what you'd normally expect. Rather than bringing out an eco car, they've made a car they've already got eco.
Yeah.
So I'm pressing some buttons on the steering wheel, now we're at some lights, and it takes me through a menu. We've got eco driving tips, which is probably not to drive like me. We've got speed, average speed. Our average speed is 13 miles an hour. Distance, journey time, range 61 miles. So it's gone up since 59.
It's electric.
It's electric.
It goes up because you powered it.
Oh, really?
Once you go fast, it powers up.
So the screen in the middle looks pretty impressive. I'd go as far as saying a few more options on here than on the Jag. I mean, Harley, read some out while I'm driving.
Alright, radio, media, car, network, app, connections, telephone, vehicle, navigation, VM, media control.
VW, we're in a VW car.
I knew that. VW, media control, images.
What's CarNet? Oh, what? It's got its own Wi-Fi. The wing mirrors are really bad. I'm trying to move lanes and I can't see in the wing mirror. It's absolutely tiny. Can I go across?
Yeah, just go.
Wing mirror is too small and where it's got raindrops on it, I just can't see anything. Sorry, don't worry now, I'll stay in this lane.
Hey Lily, I got an idea. Maybe we could get a snack, because we're going to be 1 hour in here.
We'll get something when we get there.
Should we start this car network thing then?
Yeah, go back to car network.
On it.
Driving through Wandsworth now, 4 lanes of traffic. There's a lot of lane swapping and a bit of racing going on here, and it's very versatile and nippy between the lanes. I can whiz in and out. It doesn't feel like you're compromising on power.
McDonald's!
I don't want to harp on about these wing mirrors or anything, but they go into a point right at the bit where you need to see the car.
Lily, look at those lights on there. They're like...
Oh, these are nice. They're nice. Just driving down Piccadilly now and just tried to make a left turn and I couldn't see that the car in the left-hand lane was letting me go because of the tiny wing mirrors. So that was really embarrassing. Holly, what do you think of these lights here on Piccadilly?
It's really cool.
Dexter?
I wish we could get those lights.
Don't think we can get them for our house. One thing we've noticed during this journey is the start and stop is very jerky and we're all actually feeling a little bit sick. I think that's just due to the nature of it being an electric car. Turning into New Bond Street now. Apparently this street's going to be good.
Whoa.
What do we think?
Amazing.
Ooh.
These flowers.
What are they, like peacock feathers or something?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my God. Lily, look.
What is it?
Look at that. Look, Lily. Look. There's those lights in the middle, look.
Oh, they're so nice.
Where did they get those?
Oh, look at Cartier. Film that on the right, Harley.
Christmas tree.
It's got a great big bow on it. That's so nice.
Christmas tree looks really nice.
Look at Tiffany.
Oh.
Road closed.
What?
We could probably park round here.
Are we at place yet? That's nice.
Is that a space right here? Right, we've had a look at the lights on Oxford Street, Regent Street, Carnaby Street. Which is your favourite, Dexter?
The most best one was the angel lights.
Ah, that was Regent Street.
But I like the ones with the peacock feathers.
That was Old Bond Street.
Yeah, the peacock one was the best.
What did you think of Carnaby Street, the one with the writing?
Oh, that one was epic.
So conclusions really are, well, I really like the dashboard. I think the media centre is brilliant, one of the best I've seen of all the cars I've tried out recently. As I've mentioned a few times, the wing mirrors are too small. As for the electric side of things, yes, we felt a little bit sick. It is very sudden on the brakes, but I think that's something you would get used to with a bit of driving. It says that we've got 35 miles left, so we've had a good run on it this evening. It's definitely the future. It's something that we're all just going to have to adapt to. So I'm not going to complain, but I'm also not going to lie. I miss the sound and roar of a petrol engine. So a very, very special guest this week in the podcast. Joining me now in the studio is Father Christmas himself. Hello, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everybody, and hello, Leona.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, I expect you're very busy at the moment, aren't you? I mean, how busy are you?
Extremely busy. The elves and I, very, very busy at the moment, preparing for Christmas.
Now, of course, you'll be going around all the houses on your sleigh. Are there any amazing features on your sleigh that, you know, as a car and motorbike podcast, we would really appreciate?
It has a fantastic cassette player.
Oh, wow, it's old school. I love that. And talking about music, what music do you have on in your sleigh, Santa?
Well, sleigh CDC, of course.
That is fantastic. Well, you know I approve of that. Meanwhile, what do the reindeers like to listen to?
Well, many of the reindeers like many different kinds of music, but overall their favourite is probably Hall and Oates.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, listen, Santa, I'm going to let you get back to work, so best of luck.
Many thanks, and have a Merry Christmas.
And you, Santa. Now on to my album reviews here on the Rock and Road podcast. Oh, but first of all, let's have the next question in our festive quiz. Tinsel was originally made from shredded silver. True or false? OK, let's have it again. Tinsel was originally made from shredded silver. True or false? Answers coming up at the end of the podcast. We've had 3 questions so far. Now, back to the album reviews. Well, as it's Christmas, you really must have a listen to this one. A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector, 1963. Stick this on your Christmas playlist on Christmas Day. It's got songs from the Ronettes, Darlene Love, the Crystals, and loads more. And on this album, Phil Spector invented a new way of mixing the music to make it sound really big. It was called the Wall of Sound. And it was designed so it came across really well through radios and jukeboxes of that era. And he would do that by duplicating some of the music. So let's say there was a piano in one bit. He'd also add an electric piano and a harpsichord. Mix them all together. The 3 instruments would then sound really big. He also added orchestral instruments, strings, woodwind, brass, percussion. And this wasn't previously associated with pop music at that time. He also threw in some reverb from an echo chamber, all designed to make the song sound larger than life. So have a listen to that album, that's a great one. Something else a little bit different this Christmas. If you want to mix up your Christmas Day playlist, why not throw in a few songs from this album? James Brown's Funky Christmas. And this is actually brilliant. It adds a whole new dynamic to the Christmas songs. There's some cover versions on there. Please Come Home for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Baby. But then his own ones, and I think a couple of really good ones are track 3, Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto, which is really good. And my personal favourite, track 6, Soulful Christmas. Have a listen to that one on James Brown's Funky Christmas. Now, albums to look out for next year in 2021. Alice Cooper, Detroit Stories. That's coming out on Friday the 26th of Feb. Of course, the Foo Fighters are going to release their album on the 5th of February. It's only going to be 37 minutes long. It's very quick, and it's called Medicine at Midnight. Another one to look out for in February is one by Ricky Warwick, who's been the vocalist in Thin Lizzy and Black Star Riders. And he's brought in a load of special guests on this album, including Andy Taylor from Duran Duran, Luke Morley from Thunder, Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, and Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses. The album is called When Life Was Hard and Fast, and it's out on the 19th of February. That's Ricky Warwick. Now, question number 4 on my festive quiz. Which song was a Christmas UK #1 in both 1975 and 1991? Which song was a Christmas #1 in both 1975 and 1991? I'll reveal the answers at the end of the podcast. But now it's time for a bit of festive fun with Dexter and Harley, and they're going to tell you some Christmas cracker jokes. Harley, if you could tell us the first one.
Why couldn't Mary and Joseph join their conference call?
I don't know, why?
Because there was no Zoom at the inn.
Good one, Harley. Dexter, can I hear a joke from you, please?
What kind of motorbike does Santa's ride?
I don't know, Dexter. What kind of motorbike does Santa ride?
A Harley Davidson.
A Holly Davidson. That's brilliant.
I would have thought it was a Kawasaki.
That's even better. Let's have another joke from you, Harley.
Why won't Santa lose any presents this year?
I don't know. Why won't Santa lose any presents this year, Harley?
He's downloaded Sack and Trace.
OK, Dexter, one from you, please.
Knock, knock, who's there? Arthur.
Arthur who?
Arthur, any mince pies left?
Brilliant. Harley, another joke from you, please.
Did you hear that the production was down at Santa's workshop?
Oh, no, really? Why?
Many of his workers had to elf-isolate.
That's a good one, wasn't it, Dexter? OK, and last one from you, Dexter.
What did Adam say to his wife on the day before Christmas?
What, I don't know. What did Adam say to his wife on the day before Christmas?
It's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve. That's brilliant. OK, boys. Well, what do we say to all of the listeners to the podcast?
Merry Christmas.
And...
A Happy New Year.
Yes.
Ha-ha.
Good guess. Now, actually, Dexter's going to play us out on the bass once again, playing Jingle Bells. First of all, the final question on the festive quiz. Which 3 of Father Christmas's reindeer have names beginning with the letter D? Which 3 of Father Christmas's reindeer have names beginning with the letter D? Now then, those are the 5 questions. Here are the answers for you. Question 1. Which Christmas carol was the first song to be broadcast from space in 1965? The answer... Jingle Bells. 20 points if you got that right. Question 2. Which Christmas song was initially banned by the Catholic Church in Boston when it was first released in the 1950s? And the answer is I Saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus. 20 points for that one. Tinsel was originally made from shredded silver. True or false? The answer is true. Which song was a Christmas UK #1 in both 1975 and 1991? The answer... Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. And the final question, 20 points each question. Which 3 of Father Christmas's reindeer have names beginning with the letter D? And it is Dasher, Donna and Dancer. So there you have it. Who managed to get 100%? I would love to know your scores. Please message me them now at Rock and Road Pod on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Now then, here's Dexter playing us out on bass. Well, that's it from us this year. Please do join us for more Rock and Road podcasts in 2021. Please like, subscribe and comment. You can hear the podcast on Apple, Spotify and Google. It's on my YouTube channel. You also find it on my website, leonagraham.com. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.